just a slight correction. It's Keith Roy, not Kenneth. Not a problem. All right, so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you today to discuss one of the most important topics of our lifetime, digital transformation and automation. We are living in an era of rapid technological change that is fundamentally altering the way we live, work, and communicate. From artificial intelligence to blockchain, from virtual reality to 5G networks, the pace of technological innovation is truly staggering. Therefore, during this presentation, I aim to explore the implications of digital transformation, discuss the key objective and biggest mistakes, and how we can harness these changes to drive growth, innovation, and progress in our businesses and communities of Grand Bahama. So let us embark on this journey together as we examine the opportunities of digital transformation and chart a course towards a more prosperous and equitable future. Oh, have the slide? Okay. So, what exactly is digital transformation? Digital transformation is all about preparing an organization to be successful in a digital-driven future, which basically translates into building an agile operation that has the ability to quickly shift and change directions to deal with the unexpected. Some examples of shifting and changing directions are with business models, with the type of services that you offer, the way internal operations are organized, the way you interact with your work, with your consumers and customers, and a whole lot more. After all, with today's general technology evolutions, we are truly hurtling into a future with so much potential and so many possibilities that it has become completely impossible to accurately predict how everything will look and how it will affect your specific business in the coming years and decades. Literally, everything you can think of, no matter how confident you are about it, you should consider it to be up in the air. Digital transformation is about being ready for the unexpected that will inevitably come your way. Like, for example, the presentation that I would have prepared not being up, but again, we can keep on moving. So, what exactly is the key objective of digital transformation? As just mentioned, digital transformation is all about your ability to change and evolve your business continuously in a data-driven world, with a very strong emphasis on ability and not on change. And that's an extremely important first point to understand if you want to have the right mindset and set the proper objectives for your digital transformation-related projects. The key objective is your ability to change. It's not about changing your products or your business models today. It's not about just moving your video streams to an all IP ecosystem. It's not even about moving part of your on-prem business to a new cloud service. Those things will happen indeed, but you have to understand that from that point onwards, you are essentially going to be in a constant state of transition, and therefore, it is very important to very carefully consider how you will deal with all of those things. You can be the biggest player in your corner of the world, or Grand Bahama, but if you miss that specific point, you are at risk of becoming obsolete overnight. Now, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you can make when implementing a digital transformation-related project? Digital transformation is by no means a walk in the park. It is a very complex, convoluted, and multifaceted challenge for any organization. So there's plenty of very sizable challenges to overcome. But the biggest pitfalls are related to missing the whole point about the very essence of what digital transformation is actually about. As a result, you would see, for example, organizations that simply approach this from a technology perspective, which is the first mistake, thinking that digital transformation just means technology. Digital transformation is by no means just about technology. Technology plays a very crucial role, of course, as it enables digital transformation, and we leverage technology to make it happen. But the deployment of technology itself is not the actual digital transformation by itself. As an organization, you have to look at this from a much broader perspective. This is much more about how you do things, how you use the available technology, the methodologies that you apply, the mindset of the people, the way you drive change in an organization, and much more. So that's the very first classic mistake, to look at it as a technology project and hence believe that it's just a matter of deploying that new generation of technology. The second biggest mistake is by focusing too much on the change that happens today rather than focusing on the ability to change continuously. Digital transformation is not about simply transposing your existing business and habits onto a new technology ecosystem. Simply hard-coding an existing business, workflows, and habits in a software-driven, cloudified, all-IP ecosystem is completely missing the point of having to move yourself into a position to easily be able to leverage the future potential of that new infrastructure. Granted, it is far easier, less complex, less riskier, and of course, cheaper to ignore exactly what I just said. But that's only until you have to do it over and over and over again at an even faster pace. Therefore, you are probably better off not rushing the job and taking the time to do it properly. Henceforth, ensuring that you create an agile operation and not a very rigid one, despite the fact that it might run on an entirely new technology stack. Now, we've defined what digital transformation is. We spoke about the key objective and a few of the biggest mistakes. Now, we'll discuss what are some of the things you can do or some of the things you can implement to be successful when implementing a digital transformation project. As we said, digital transformation is a very complex, convoluted, and multifaceted challenge. And there's no single recipe for success. But we do know that there are some very key essential ingredients in each recipe that can lead you to success. And that's technology, people, and methodology. So firstly, technology. If you know that the ability to change and continuously evolve is a key objective, you will immediately see that this is very much defined already by the way you choose and architect your technology system. You have to look at it from the top down, from the goals of digital transformation right down through the technology stack. A perfect example of this is one of our clients of ours, Doctors Hospital, and I'm glad Dennis Savo is in the room so that he can keep me honest when I say this. But back in 2020, Doctors Hospital at the time were just getting started with their COVID-19 operation testing, and they were looking to build out a custom solution that could allow them to scale very effortlessly and allow them to increase the amount of tests that they can give out to their consumers. So once we would have engaged Doctors Hospital, understood the business requirements, and really understand exactly what they were looking for, we would have built them a customized COVID-19 portal, which allowed them to not only generate more revenue, save expenses, but of course, run a much more efficient operation overall. As a matter of fact, if you were to get the Tribune today, you would see that we would have also just launched their telehealth portal, which allows consumers to be able to request their labs, prescriptions, set up payment agreements, all through a web portal and also through their native mobile app. As a matter of fact, their director for results management and outpatient clinics quotes in the article, "The TeleConnect project propels our digital transformation, streamlining our operations by automating internal processes and creating portals that make our services more accessible to the public anytime from anywhere." So again, it's just one of the examples of how digital transformation, leveraging technology, is allowing businesses to scale effortlessly and of course be a whole lot more efficient while saving cost and driving revenue. The second ingredient is, of course, people. Now, I do see my baby boomers in the room, so I would like for you guys to pay close attention when I say this part. Digital transformation touches upon everything that you can imagine, every possible aspect of a business. We are talking about stepping from one era of mankind and into a completely new one. So that means that it is about letting go of habits that has been around for our entire lifetime and aspects of the business and markets which we all consider to be pretty much laws of nature by now, and which we've never imagined ever changing, but which now could actually shift overnight, so to speak. If there is one thing that we do very well as humans, is resisting change and making decisions that are heavily biased based on our past experiences and our personal trusted framework of reference. And that's exactly what you do not want to do when you are talking about digital transformation. Therefore, it is important to choose the right people to lead the various related initiatives, people with the right mindset, the drive and ambition, people with the creative insights, and a whole lot more. Now, last but not least, we have methodology. Companies and people have a long tradition in organizing activities and projects in a very structured and planned manner, carefully planning things in advance, in great detail, analyzing all aspects of it, and then aiming at executing it in one go like a Swiss watch. We have a tradition in taking pride in that. But while that might be a good approach in a well-controlled environment with a finite number of well-defined options, and risks that can more or less be anticipated, this can now be a very inefficient and detrimental approach in a very complex environment with a very large number of variables and hence infinite options, and where it is impossible to anticipate all possible obstacles that you will come across. There has to be a better way. Introducing the agile mindset and applying the associated methodologies to practice it is that better way. Although it is not an easy thing to do, it is a fundamental cornerstone of a successful digital transformation. And just for an example, I know the slide isn't up, but when I think about methodology, it just brings me back to the reason why one of the first products we would have built at Plato Alpha, TriBlock HR, the main reason we would have built that product was because we would have noticed here in the Bahamas that a lot of companies were not able to easily marry their HR and payroll departments. You would see big companies spend thousands of dollars on software systems, primarily just for HR. They would spend another few $1,000s for payroll, and then they would spend another tens of thousands of dollars to try and integrate both together. So understanding that there was never a system in place here in the Bahamas that can easily integrate both HR and payroll, we decided to go down the rabbit hole of actually building it. And what we would have realized is that all companies in the Bahamas needs to be able to run a efficient business. And of course, having a very effective HR and payroll operations would make that very easier for you, which is why TriBlock HR was born. And we would have seen that a lot of companies today are seeing the benefit of being able to have one system to handle your HR, your payroll, reward and recognition, performance management, so on and so forth. And we will be continuing on that path moving forward. There's a lot that can be said about all of this, but I would say keep these essentials in mind at all times, and you're off to a good start on your digital transformation endeavors. Thank you.